welcome. My name is Evgeny Rusakov and you're watching TVP World, interview from Vilnius. Not so long ago, Strasbourg held a World Forum for Democracy, an event that gathered many thought leaders from all over the globe. Loads of topics that are worth mentioning were raised during this 3 days event, and we shall try to touch upon some of them with our today's guest, senior political advisor to Mrs. Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya, Alexander Dabravolski. Alexander, glad to see you with us today.
I'm glad too.
Alexander, well, first of all, so could you please shed more light on this specific event that you were also part of?
The World Forum for Democracy is one of the most important events that are organized annually by Council of Europe. It was already the 12th edition of the forum, and this forum is dedicated to problems that are important for democracy all around the world, not only in Europe. And the participants of this forum are from many countries, but the most important participants are young politicians, young NGO leaders, young journalists, young businessmen, those people who will decide in the future about their own countries and our issues all around the world, and they will decide about will democracy be alive or not, because we see that there are a lot of issues that
that democracy is facing at this specific moment. Okay, here's the question then. How much of Belarus topic was raised during this World Forum?
Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya took part at the forum and the discussion about involvement of people to make common decisions, to be active in political life. And not only Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya, sometimes in different meetings there was as example of Belarus as a country where people in fact don't have a right of choice. So,
unfortunately, yes.
Sviatlana told about how we can act when the state is against the society, when state don't help people but make people units that decide
literally
nothing.
Puppets, exactly, puppets. Yeah. Okay, why I asked about Belarus is because I would like to draw parallels between some of the topics raised during this event and today's Belarus. So there was a topic, one of the topics during this forum was public safety versus free speech. And I think, to my mind, that this topic is very close to many citizens of Belarus and, well, in fact, both points. So here's the question. Since when Belarusians lost both of them?
Step by step. Sometimes people even don't understand that something is changing, but we have the same figure as a leader of the state for the 30 years, and we see that he was elected, but now no one could be elected, but only him.
Okay.
And we should understand difference between security of the state and public safety.
Okay, please.
Because state is captured by a small group of elites,
exactly, it is.
So-called elites, and public safety now in Belarus means that society is in the war with the state. That is a problem. And of course, freedom of speech is very important, but now in Belarus, public safety and freedom of speech almost non-exist.
The freedom of speech almost does not exist. Why do you say so?
Because it's dangerous for those people who are in power to hear something that they don't like. They are the main idea to preserve the power. And if people will say something about their rights, about democracy, about their right to choose someone or not,
they're about to go to jail.
In Belarus, it's possible only for like in social media.
Yeah, I know that, and that's terrible. Okay, so another interesting topic of this forum was called "From Populism to Authoritarianism." So, and is the erosion of democracy inevitable? So, and I guess it's the way how Lukashenko came to power in 1994. What lesson could other states learn from this example?
Let's see to the roots of populism. It's not so bad thing, but it's not so bad because sometimes elites don't think about interest of people, their rights. They think about their own interest. And in this moment, populism appears. And populism means that politicians should speak to people about issues that are interesting for people, that are important for people, and that's good. Politicians should be clear to be understandable by people. This is good. But then populism means that nobody is responsible for words and actions. No politicians, both politicians and citizens. We see example in Ukraine when sometimes people supported strange politicians, and the results was.
Let's say Holland, for example, Netherlands.
Maybe, but the main example for me is 1994 in Belarus, when Lukashenko was elected, and people hope that there will be changes. Of course, there were changes, but these changes make people silent. Units without rights. So we should understand that every state is in risk when populism crosses this border from
saying truth to just
to become words and promises without responsibility.
I see. Well, yes, I do agree with you. Sure. Okay, so another interesting topic that was really related to Belarus was elections under pressure. What's at stake for representative democracy? So we are definitely not talking about democracy here. It's not the case of Belarus. But elections under pressure is really the story of Belarus. So do you think it would be a right decision for Belarusians not to vote during the upcoming elections that will happen in January 2025?
It's a problem because people, from one hand, understand that president is main figure that could change something or change nothing in Belarus, and it's important. By the other hand, people understand that the result is known by everybody. And there is no real elections in Belarus. It's impossible without changes of political regime. It's impossible without stopping the war from state against the society. It's impossible when people are arrested every day. 12 dozens of people every day are arrested because of they said something or did
put
something.
a like somewhere in social networks and all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah, and when there are political prisoners without freedom of media, And the system of falsification of results is the same as in 2020 and earlier, when nobody is going to calculate votes. And in Belarus, nobody knows real results, because even state officials, because the system didn't show the real figures. And now we understand that we could not change this system now in 2025, and we should do many things for changes, coordinate our efforts for changes, and possibly protest against this falsification and sham elections. And we will propose people, if there are forces to go to the poll station, to vote against anyone, everybody who is stealing our votes. It's a form of protest. Outside Belarus, Belarusians don't have a right of vote because the state stopped this voting. And we should work for changes, understanding that it's impossible to change the situation just now. And these elections means nothing for situation in Belarus.
I see. Okay, but since we've mentioned those upcoming elections in Belarus, why, in your opinion, will a certain part still vote for Alexander Lukashenko? Because there definitely is a certain part of people that still believe that their president is a good one, is a good choice.
I think it's a question of fear.
You think so?
Yeah, because in Belarus nobody feels himself or herself in safety. Or minister, or worker, or teacher, anyone. Because everybody understands that if I will say something not very good for authorities, I will be imprisoned. And now some people afraid that it could be worse. It could be. But many people afraid that their vote will be known to authorities.
So that's probably the main reason.
I think that about 15% in Belarus now really support Lukashenko.
15?
15. Maybe 20.
Okay.
Not more.
Not more than that.
But many people are afraid that changes will be not good changes for them. And they're afraid changes at all. And I think that about 40% in Belarus of people are afraid of changes. At the same time, about 60% demand changes. It's a problem of when and how these changes could come. And it's really, nobody believes that these fake elections should or can change something in Belarus. It's not this moment of change.
Well, unfortunately, I have to agree with you, but well, let's see what 2025 will bring us. Alexander, thank you so much for joining us today, and I really hope to see you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to remind our viewers that our guest for today was a senior political advisor to Mrs. Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya, Alexander Dabravolski. You're watching TVP World. Stay with us.